This is Dr. James Carter. Today, we have a smoking gun. For weeks, we have been told that the silence from NASA regarding the 3I Atlas flyby was just bureaucratic inertia, a boring, inevitable result of the federal government shutdown.
We were told that the machines were on autopilot, the data was sitting in a queue, and that no one was home to press the publish button. We now know that was a lie. We have just received confirmation, not a rumor, not a leak, but official confirmation from the mission team itself that the data we are waiting for is not just stuck in a queue. It is being actively held. There is a massive difference between delayed and classified, and what we just found on the HiRISE servers crosses that line. Today we're going to break down the exact text that just appeared on the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter's official site. We are going to look at why routine data is still flowing while 3I Atlas is blocked. And, crucially, we are going to connect this directly to a new perspective from Harvard's Dr. Avi Loeb, who has been warning us exactly what this kind of institutional silence usually signals. The evidence is no longer just in the sky, it's in the cover-up. Let's start with the facts. Up until yesterday, the accepted narrative was that NASA was completely dark. If you went to their main public-facing sites, you got the standard shutdown banner. Sorry, we're closed. But experienced researchers know that the deep-level mission sites, the ones run by universities or affiliated labs like the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, often operate on different automated schedules. I have been monitoring the HiRISE catalog daily. HiRISE is the high-resolution imaging science experiment camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter. It is the most powerful camera we have ever sent to another planet. It was perfectly positioned to get the clearest look at 3I Atlas as it passed Mars.
Yesterday, November 5th, the HiRISE site came alive. It updated its picture of the day. It wasn't a new image, but it was an active update to the homepage. More importantly, the main data catalog updated with new, routine Mars surface scans. This proves one critical thing. The automated pipelines are working. Data is coming down from Mars, it is being processed by the servers at the University of Arizona, and it is being published to the web. The lights are definitively on. Except for one specific file. If you attempt to access the observation IDs reserved for the 3I Atlas flyby, you don't get an automated error. You get a specific, manually written note that was added to the homepage by the mission team. I want to read you this note precisely, because every word in it was chosen carefully by a mission scientist who knew exactly what they were typing. It reads, "Note. Any images of the interstellar comet 3I Atlas are considered NASA-wide news. Because the federal government is in shutdown, communications of NASA news have been suspended." Let that sink in. Considered NASA-wide news. In the lexicon of space agencies, NASA-wide news is a specific classification. It is not used for routine cometary flybys. It is not used for standard fuzzy images of distant rocks. If HiRISE had taken a picture and it just looked like a standard icy comet nucleus, that data would likely have been allowed to flow through the automated pipeline as routine science. By classifying it as NASA-wide news, someone made a deliberate human decision to pull that specific data out of the automated stream. They looked at those images and decided that releasing them wasn't just a scientific update, it was a major media event requiring a full press conference. You do not hold a press conference for a fuzzy dot. You hold a press conference when you have found something that changes the narrative. This brings us to the crucial context provided by Dr. Avi Loeb and his team at Harvard.
Dr. Loeb has argued for years that the greatest barrier to discovering extraterrestrial technology won't be the limitations of our telescopes, but the limitations of our institutional courage. He has warned that when faced with genuinely anomalous data that doesn't fit the safe, accepted models of ice and rock, major space agencies will freeze. They will not release the data immediately. They will hold it, analyze it to death, and try to find any desperate, conventional explanation before they dare to show it to the public. This HiRISE update is exactly what that freezing looks like in real time. If 3I Atlas were a normal comet, this note would not exist. They might have delayed it, sure, but to specifically tag it as major news during a shutdown means the image itself is explosive. Remember what HiRISE is capable of. From its orbital altitude around Mars, it can resolve objects as small as a coffee table on the Martian surface. At the distance 3I Atlas passed, roughly 28 million kilometers, it wouldn't see a coffee table, but it would absolutely be able to resolve the shape of a multi-kilometer object. It would see if it was a tumbling, irregular potato shape, like typical asteroids. It would also see if it was a perfect sphere, or a long, thin cylinder, or if it had highly reflective artificial surfaces that did not match the albedo of natural rock. Someone at HiRISE has already seen these images. They have seen the shape of this object, and that visual confirmation was enough to immediately slap a stop order on its release until the full weight of NASA's public relations machinery can be brought back online to manage the narrative. This is not standard operating procedure. During previous shutdowns, automated science often continued because it was deemed non-essential for human personnel, but essential for mission continuity. Data that didn't require human intervention to publish just kept publishing. By intervening to stop this specific dataset, they have confirmed its significance. We also need to consider what NASA-wide news implies about coordination. This isn't just the HiRISE team finding something interesting and wanting to write a press release. NASA-wide implies coordination across different directorates, planetary science, perhaps even national security channels if the data is sensitive enough. It suggests that what HiRISE saw might correlate with other data we know is being held, perhaps from the James Webb Telescope, which also observed the object during the same window. If multiple instruments are showing the same anomalies, the need for a coordinated, carefully managed release becomes paramount for an agency as risk-averse as NASA. They are buying time. They are likely using this shutdown as a convenient cover to figure out how to tell us what they have already seen.
Dr. Loeb's recent commentary on this has been prescient. He noted that extraordinary evidence requires extraordinary courage to publish. If an astronomer sees something artificial, their first instinct is often fear of ridicule, fear of being wrong, fear of destroying their reputation. So they hold it. They wait for peer review. They wait for consensus. They wait for permission. Right now, the permission is pending. So what do we do with this information? First, we validate our skepticism. We were right to question the silence. It wasn't just a broken government. It was a deliberate embargo. Second, we'd prepare for the moment the government reopens. The second that shutdown ends, the clock starts ticking on this NASA-wide news. They will no longer have the excuse of suspended communications. We need to be ready to demand this data immediately. We must also be prepared for what this news might be. It is possible they will try to slow walk the reveal, releasing heavily processed images first, or framing the anomalies in the most conservative possible terms. They might say it's puzzling or unexpected, while avoiding words like artificial at all costs. We need to look at the raw data when it drops, not just the press release.
This November 5th update on the HiRISE site is a crack in the dam. They tried to quietly hold the data, but in doing so, they had to admit they were holding it. They confirmed that 3I Atlas is not routine. It is major news. We are no longer just waiting for a picture of a comet. We are waiting for a major announcement that was deemed too explosive to release without a full team of communication experts standing by to manage the fallout. Keep your eyes on that site. The moment it changes, the moment that data is forced out into the light, we will be here to analyze it. Not the sanitized version they might want to tell us, but the raw reality of what is passing through our system. We know they have it. Now we just have to wait for them to lose their excuse for hiding it. Clear skies, everyone.